Okay, ma'am. Who do I have here with me today?
My name's Jacqueline Hall.
Could you say it again? I'm sorry.
Jacqueline Hall.
Jacqueline Hall. That's a unique name. Nice to meet you, Jacqueline. Secondly, how old are you and what's your current living situation?
I am 40 years old and I am currently housed.
That's amazing. Do you care to elaborate on how you got housed? Did you get a voucher?
Yes. It took 3 years of me constantly talking to agency after agency and asking all kinds of different questions about a housing voucher, permanent supportive housing, and then finding out that there's your rapid rehousing vouchers, there's the permanent supportive housing vouchers, then there's general mental health permanent supportive housing vouchers, and your main permanent supportive housing vouchers come with an SMI diagnosis.
Wow. What's it like when you get a voucher? Could you tell me, let the people know what it's like and how hard was it?
It's hard because their system and the amount of units available aren't equaling the amount of vouchers that get given to people.
Oh, okay.
So you can go to an apartment complex that has a unit available, try and apply, go there, and it's already it's been taken, and they filled it. And so the system is outdated even by days to weeks at times. And so units will be no longer available when on the admission site says that they're still available. And then a lot of apartment complexes don't want to take the vouchers.
That's sad.
Yeah, because a lot of people are homeless and they're on the streets. But they don't realize that it's being stereotyped. Just because you're on the streets and homeless doesn't mean that you're an addict.
Yeah, that's very well true. Since you spoke a little bit about being an addict, do you mind to share if you are an addict?
I am, and I've been clean since November 5th.
Shout out to you.
2022.
Shout out to you, man. That's amazing. I'm proud of you. I feel anybody can do it as long as they put their mind to it, and that's just amazing. When I talk to people who overcome their weaknesses and things like that. All it does is mean that you got a strong character.
And I mean, my addiction started early on when I was put on Adderall and Ritalin as a child. And I didn't realize that when I was young and naive and didn't know much about anything and got offered whatever and, peer pressure and trying to fit in at such a young age, I didn't realize that what I ended up inhaling happened to gave me the same body effects as my Adderall and my Ritalin.
Oh, okay.
And it turned out to be methamphetamines, and then I was off and on that from 16 to 21. Got clean, was clean for 12 years, then had dealings with CPS, and when they severed my rights to my kids is when I relapsed.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. If you don't mind talking, how many kids do you have, and what was the reason, aside being on drugs, for them severing?
Drugs wasn't the reason why they severed my rights.
Oh, really? What was the reason, if you don't mind me asking?
So, I was a single parent, trying to take care of 4 children, basically 2 years apart from each other, ages from 10 to 4. And when CPS got involved, I was at work, got a phone call that the cops were at my house and my daughter was found roaming the streets because the person who was supposed to be watching my children left my daughter home alone from 10:30 until 3:30
It's awful.
when I got the phone call from my stepdad that the cops were at my house. My daughter was home from school because she had pink eye.
Yeah.
And the person I had watching them turned out to be an absconded registered sex offender.
Oh no. Yeah, that's awful.
And then after that, I lost my place to live because I was surviving off of my son's disability check because my son's disabled.
Yeah.
And I had no help.
Ma'am, that is so awful. Since you talked about sex offenders and stuff, being out here, what's it like being out here since you said that you have been out here as a woman? Being out here in these streets, were you ever scared? Were you ever, just annoyed, worried about what these men out here could do to you?
Always. I had a benefit of having a car at the time that I was on the streets. That I'll be honest, I had a weapon within arm's reach of me at all times. Didn't matter where I was. There was something I could use to defend myself at all times in my vehicle. I always carry more than one thing on me, always on the streets.
Yeah.
Plus, I had my dog.
There you go.
And I don't know. I wouldn't feel safe as a woman on the streets.
Yeah, isn't it awful?
I mean,
What's the comparison like? So is it better if you have a man versus just being by yourself?
No.
Strong woman.
Because even if you have a man can still be overpowered, and a man is the first target in a situation like that, because you're gonna try and wait for them to be incapacitated.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. And I had to stay hypervigilant, which triggered my PTSD and my CPTSD even more so being on the streets.
Oh man.
Which made me more paranoid, more on edge, more stressed, more cautious, and more fearful of strange people.
Yeah.
People I didn't know, I'd get real bad anxiety, and it would worry me about meeting them because I didn't want them to know me. I didn't want to know them. I didn't want to know nothing. I didn't care even if I've known you for 15 years.
Yeah, you just wanted to do your day and get on the way.
I mean, I preferred to sleep in unwell-lit areas.
Yeah.
Quiet, secluded, where there was minimal traffic. Like, find me somewhere where there's not many people at all.
Yeah.
Where I was first staying at was actually, a lot of people used to stay out at the river bottom.
Oh yeah.
Tempe.
Yeah, familiar.
I stayed out over on the reservation side.
Yeah.
Clear, far away from everyone because of the fact that I was afraid, are they going to come steal my stuff when I'm not there? Are they going to come get me in the middle of the night because I am a single woman, even though I have a dog?
Yeah.
I'm a target.
Yes, ma'am, you are. Since you talked about stealing stuff, I never got a complete answer. Why do homeless people like to steal credentials, IDs, social security cards, other than doing the fraud thing? Is there another reason as to why they do it? Is it just to kick someone while they're down?
No, part of it's survival.
Yeah.
When you don't have any money, and it's an easy way to have money or to get money.
Very true. Very
using
true.
somebody else's information to get a credit card, using somebody else's information so that way they can have money.
Wow. Yeah, that's so awful,
The world's come down to greed.
Yes, ma'am.
And material. Everybody's materialistic.
Yep.
I have found that the times that I was at most at peace was in my tent up in Sholo, in the middle of nowhere. Just me and my dog. I could spend hours roaming the woods happily and peacefully and no cares in the world. Down here, I'm stressed, my anxiety's through the roof.
Yeah.
And I'm always on edge. And it's the vibe. The vibe down here is not good.
You know, I tell people all the time, like I go to Phoenix, as I told you, I'm all over. You know, Sunny Slope, I'm everywhere.
Slope's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And
Slope, the square.
The square, oh gosh, the square.
You know you're from Phoenix if you know the slope of the square.
Yeah, oh yeah. And so, you know, the one thing that's crazy is I always let them know that, you know, Tempe, it always seems like there's a lot of camaraderie here. Like, look, there was just about 1,000 people here now, you know, helping each other out, giving out food and things like that. And I think that's heavy. I think that's unique. You know, you don't see stuff like that in Phoenix, you know? And I tell them all the time.
You do?
There's quite a little bit, but not like this big. I don't know.
I mean, you do, but you're right. There's no organization outside of like Cass,
St.
Vincent
Andre
de Paul,
House.
but that's all in one centralized location,
Yes,
the zone.
ma'am. Yeah.
That now they've been pushing everybody and forcing everybody to constantly move around. The cops going and breaking up encampments and stealing or throwing away people's belongings and arresting people. Okay, they found drugs on them. They maybe are on private property, but homelessness is now becoming, they're criminalizing it and making it a crime against humanity.
Yes, ma'am, they are. How do you feel about the new urban camping law? And have you noticed anybody scared or weary or going through the motions, or are things just like a well-oiled machine out here?
I want to know when people thought that it was a new law, because to my knowledge, it'll be now 5 years. Because I moved down here from Sholo about 5 years ago now. That's been the thing. Urban camping has been banned.
Okay, see, you're the third person I've heard that from.
But yet, if you look at all the public park signs here in Tempe, it says urban camping permit.
Yeah.
But yet you go to look one up, it doesn't tell you where you can go to purchase one.
No, I wouldn't know. Oh, yeah, that's awful. I wouldn't know where to...
Because it's like, okay, I want an urban camping permit. Where can I get one?
Yeah.
Well, you can't get one because it's banned. Well, why is it being banned? Because being homeless is now a crime.
That's awful. And I see you got a lot of luggage here, you know?
Uh-huh.
You got a lot of stuff here. Now, is it just you carrying this stuff?
It's mainly me. I have somebody else that came with me.
That's awesome. But I mean, I'm only saying that to say, isn't it not ironic, but isn't it displaced people? They walk so many miles a day. They're so in shape. You know, they
not
walk.
All of them.
No, not all of them, but like, you know, they're in shape because they're carrying heavy things and you know, they're walking 2, 3, 4, 5 miles a day. You know, sometimes without even water. And I think that it's just sad, and I think we need to change this. I feel like the world has lost empathy or compassion or humanitarianism. You know what I'm saying?
It's becoming, people are creating it to be a crime against humanity, and we no longer...
We're getting yelled at, so we have to get off the property.
That people need to start realizing that where we failed is when we started trying to modernize the Native Americans.
All right, I got one last question for you. That's true. Where do you see yourself, ma'am, in the next 5 years, and why? And that's it.
I don't know.
That was a good answer.
I don't know. Right now, I'm still stuck in survival mode, even though I'm housed. The housing even though I have my housing voucher, my rent's paid for, my utilities are paid for. But what about my cleaning supplies? What about my toilet paper, paper towels? What about laundry? I can't do my laundry, so either I throw belongings away, I throw clothes away because they're dirty and I can't wash them, but then now I need new clothes, clean clothes.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of constantly having to run around to get new or clean stuff because stuff is dirty.
Yeah.
Instead of being able to just wash what I have and do that.
Yes, ma'am. That's awful. Well, thank you so much for this beautiful interview. It's been an honor talking to you. You're such an amazing soul. I believe that you haven't been engulfed in homelessness. I think that you can do anything you put your mind to. You got a beautiful dog there, and it seems like you're very strong. I just, want to thank you, and hopefully next time I see you, I can, give you a hand up or see you in a better situation than you are now. Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome. We need to quit using people's opinions to create laws.
Oh, good.
Because people have stopped respecting each other's opinions on topics, especially like you can use abortion for example. Just because you're against it, what happens if you were raped? You can't say in that moment that you wouldn't. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
And so making laws based off of other's opinions is wrong to me, and that's why we're failing.
Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.